Yo, what's up homies and welcome back. So, as I'm pretty sure, you guys have already noticed the big new phenomena that regards CSGO, and basically almost any video game in general. Now, while we could discuss the fact that, there have been cases in the past for CSGO, you can, go ahead and buy supply drops in BO3 and all that kind of good jazz. It has definitely not been to the same extent that has happened right now with CSGO gambling. In case you guys didn't know, in case you guys lived under a stone, there are basically several websites that allow you to trade in your skins, which, keep in mind, are actually worth real money for you to go ahead and obtain some kind of virtual currency that you can go ahead and bet, and if you win, you can actually go ahead and withdraw certain skins that they have on their marketplace. Perfectly fine, no problem without that. Only issue that I have on the entire subject matter is the fact that I tend to notice a pattern, aka the more successful or popular you are on whatever platform it may be, whether it may be YouTube or Twitch, the more the CSGO betting websites are gonna be inclined to go ahead and sponsor you in order for you to advertise the website. And while that is completely fine, and I encourage that because it is simply a logic thing to do, since TV is basically dead nowadays, what I really do not encourage is the way that content creators are approaching the subject matter. I mean, I'm pretty sure any content creator, I know for sure on YouTube, because I own a channel myself, I can check my own demographic, I know that there is a certain percentage of people that watch my video that are under the legal age of, here in Italy or in the UK it's 18, or let's say in the US it's 21. There is definitely a vast majority of people that watch just YouTube in general that are within those boundaries of age that should not be influenced by people such as Twitch streamers or content creators just like myself here on YouTube in going ahead and trying CSGO betting websites. Not really because of CSGO, but more likely because it's gambling, and gambling can cause serious problems. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that gambling is bad. I've tried it myself. I absolutely love gambling. Gambling is extremely fun to do, but people go ahead and gamble for the wrong reasons, okay? And this is something that I want to be extremely clear. Whenever you go ahead and you try to gamble, you should not go ahead and gamble for the sake of the desire of getting, I don't know, a better skin, of making money. Because trust me, with the video you're gonna see right now, I'm gonna tell you exactly that there is no way in hell that is certified that if you, I don't know, play a certain card, put X amount of tokens on that particular caller, that particular number, is gonna guarantee you a win. If there was, don't you think that casinos would have figured out, or that these websites would have figured out and would have not allowed you to go ahead and use and exploit them? I mean, no one likes to lose money. In fact, it actually seems like that none of the big content creators or big Twitch streamers, big YouTubers actually give a flying shit out of explaining to their younger audience that gambling is not good, that gambling is addictive, the risk that may come with gambling, the money you can just throw away because of gambling. None of them are actually saying, hey, you know what, you should maybe consider doing this only if you're over 18. None of them are actually going ahead and saying, hey, gambling too is extremely fun, but it's really addictive, so you might consider it twice before you go ahead and spend your money on gambling. And the main reason is, younger audience, aka people that are, let's say, 10 to 15 years old, they tend to not understand the true value of money. They tend to have never had a job that would allow them to go ahead and understand the true value of money. They simply obtain their monthly or weekly allowance by their parents, and they like, oh, you know what, I really like that video game, I'm just gonna go ahead and spend the money that my parents earned to go ahead and have video game. I'm just gonna spend the money that my parents earned to go ahead and buy, I don't know, that ticket to the movies, whatever the fuck it may be. They do not truly understand what it actually means to, put your sweat and tears into something that you're creating so that you actually manage to make some money out of it. Hence why this particular video is being made. I want to explain to these people that gambling should only be used as a mean of leisure, aka fun, not really as a way to make more money. Because there is no certified way to go ahead and make more money using gambling methods. Now, considering this was an extremely long ass preface, let's actually get into the video itself. The truth about CSGO gambling, or any gambling platform in general, the truth is that there is no proven way that is gonna allow you to have a certified win. There is no way to be 110% sure that that number or that color or that card is gonna guarantee you a win. Simply none. And keep in mind that gambling has been around for centuries. really bright people have been alive in these past centuries. They should have figured out something, don't you think so? Now, keep this in mind. You might be smart, but you definitely ain't no Nostradamus, and we both know that. Meaning that while you might believe you figured out something extremely cool, like an exploit to play blackjack, you might have figured out the way that the roulette actually works and all that kind of good jazz, there is a fairly high chance, let's go with a 99.99999 chance, that you actually have not figured out shit and you're simply falling under the addiction derived from gambling. CSGO gambling, for the vast majority, is divided between 3 or 4 different methods, okay? Well, actually 5 if we consider also game gambling, aka the fact that you can bet on a team winning a particular game rather than a team getting a draw, whatever it may be. You understand what I'm talking about. If you've ever been to CSGO Lounge, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm not gonna be covering that simply because that is actually doable. That is actually doable. You only need to put a lot of research, and I mean like a lot of research in whatever gamble you're going into. If you're talking about betting on teams, betting on games, and all that kind of good jazz. There are a lot of big YouTube channels that have done this in the past, people that have already gained something like 100k subs just by betting on certain teams and showing and basically sharing their predictions and actually finding that their predictions were actually totally right. Hence why this particular video will only cover those gambling methods that are found on normal CSGO betting, CSGO gambling kind of websites, aka blackjack, roulette, the dice roll, and even the jackpot. Now, for each of these 4 different methods of gambling, there has been some level of an exploit that has been found. For blackjack, we already know it's a +1, 0, and -1 system. For the roulette and the dice rolls, it's the martingale system. For the jackpot, the bigger the better. Now let's actually start with blackjack. If you've ever watched Rayman or 21, you know exactly what I'm talking about, or what I'm referring to, aka counting cards. Now, keep this in mind, in the video itself I'm going to be extremely generic. We're not going to cover laws or rules such as, I don't know, drawing on a soft 17 or any of that matter. If you want to know more, simply Google blackjack counting cards. There are a shit ton of websites about it. You have no clue how much it is, and I've actually put myself a good amount of research into this particular video, hence why the video is actually going to be a little bit longer than usual. Now, counting cards used to be extremely popular back in the day, for the simple reason that it is really easy to count cards. If you've passed 5th grade, you already have the knowledge required to go ahead and count cards. It's that easy. Why? For the following reasons. Cards that are equal to 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 should be defined as a +1. Cards that are equal to a 7, 8, 9 should be defined as a 0. Cards that are either an ace, jack, king, queen, or 10 should be defined as a -1. Reason being, let's say that the count of the cards, you just look at the cards on the table, you count the cards according to the scheme that I gave you. If the count of the cards is extremely high, that means that the probability of you going ahead and picking up and drawing an extremely high count cards, aka an ace, and a queen, jack, king, and a 10, is actually a lot higher because there are a lot less cards in the deck. Now, this is the thing. CSGO gambling websites, or also just normal gambling websites that involve blackjack, do not disclose the amount of decks used nor the amount of cards used. The reason being, that is basically the entire exploit. If you know the amount of cards, if you know the amount of decks used, then you can actually understand what is the probability that the next card you're gonna pick up is gonna be an ace, and you're gonna go 21 blackjack, or that the next card you're gonna draw is gonna be a king when you already have a 17, and then you're screwed. You go past 21, you're boss mate. Now, there is one way you could exploit this particular system, and that is if you're godly smart, and I mean really smart, and you know about reverse engineering. You could actually go ahead and reverse engineer the hash number that is given to you whenever you actually draw a card, and if you're really smart, you could actually figure out what is the next card. That is fairly improbable because I'm pretty sure that 99.9% of the people watching this video know nothing about coding and know nothing about advanced statistics. It's something that literally is not that easy to do. Let's talk about roulette and the dice rolls. Now this, I don't know, websites like CSGO Diamonds. If you've watched Summon 1G in the past couple of days, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The game, on average, if it's roulette, is simply divided as follows. In a normal roulette, there are 37 or 38 numbers depending on whatever roulette you're playing on. Let's say European, it's 37. American, I believe, is 38. Reason being is that half of the roulette is black numbers, half of the roulette is red numbers, and then there is one number which for CSGO betting is actually green, when in reality should be considered a 0 in casino. Keep this in mind, if you put your bet on a red or a black and win the bet, you're gonna win twice your initial bet. If you put your bet on a 0 in casino, you're gonna win, I believe, 36 times or 37 times depending on which roulette you use. Meanwhile, on CSGO gambling, if you put your bet on the green, you're gonna win either 11 times or 16 times your initial bet depending on what the website uses. Now, here is the exploit that should be used, or that could be used, and that is the martingale system. The system basically says that if you put a bet on, let's say, black and you lose, what you have to do is basically double the bet and still put it on black. Why? Because the chances of there being a black outcome or a red outcome are close to being 50%. In fact, they're actually 48.6% on black and 48.6% on red, while only being at 2.8 chance of actually entering, or the ball, whatever it may be, actually stopping on green. The reason why the martingale actually works is very, very simple. Let's say that I put $50 on black on my first bet. I lose. What I do, I put $100 on black on the same bet. What happens if I lose again? Simple. I put $200 on the same color for my third bet. Eventually, you are going to pick the right color. When you do so, you're gonna make your money back from whatever money you already lost, because you lost X amount of times in a row. Plus, you're gonna make, I believe, an extra $50 if I'm not wrong. This is how the martingale sequence or the martingale system actually works. The main problem with that is that you need an immense amount of money, and I'm talking like infinite amount of money. The only restraint that is not gonna allow you to basically beat the system is the fact that you have a limited amount of money. If you had infinite amount of money, you could go on forever and eventually you will turn a profit, simply because it's raw math. Reason being, vast majority of people do not have an infinite amount of money. I don't know about you, but I personally have a limited allowance, and I personally obtain a limited wage on my job. That's all I get. There is not like I can keep on betting and betting and betting. That's why if you go and watch Summit1G on Twitch, you will see that he has around 21k in diamonds on CSGO diamonds, which, keep in mind, every diamond is worth $1, so $21, $21,000. What usually people that use the martingale system do is that they place an extremely low bet considering their overall bankroll, aka the amount of money that they actually have to bet. Let's say Summit actually has a 21k in his bankroll, aka money already owns. What he does is that he basically starts his bet with 30 cents. Eventually he's gonna lose the first one, he's gonna bump up to 60 cents. He's gonna lose the third one, he's gonna bump up to 120 cents. When that happens and he finally wins, he's gonna win the money back. Now let's talk about the last aspect regarding CSGO gambling, and that is the jackpot. Now keep this in mind, I'm gonna say this extremely carefully. This is by far the most reasonable approach to gambling, for the simple reason that you actually have the possibility of altering the probability of you actually winning. Why? Well, it's very simple. Jackpot works in the following way. Let's say there are 5 players in the particular jackpot, they all put X amount of dollars in it. Whoever put the highest amount of dollars is gonna have the higher amount of percentage of actually being picked and winning. For example, let's say that there are a total of 3 players. Player 1 goes ahead and is like, hey, you know what? Man, I'm feeling it, putting $20 in. Then there is player number 2 and is like, nah, bruh, you ain't got shit, I'm gonna put $30 in it. And then there is player 3, he likes to play it smart, and that's exactly what I'm telling you guys to do. That, you know, sees that the pot is actually growing, and just before the timer is out to place your bet, goes ahead and puts a $50 in it. What happens is that now the jackpot is $100, out of which the guy, player number 3, that put in the $50 actually has a 50% chance of going ahead and bringing home the $100. This is something extremely common in CSGO betting websites, to the point in which it has actually been given a name of itself. It's called pot sniping, or you got sniped, and all that kind of good jazz. Meaning that, let's say that there is a pot of $2,000 on CSGO Lotto, or whatever it may be. There is that one rich guy that you hate that is gonna simply come in and bet something like 20k. So that the chances of him winning are almost like 90%, if not more. Now also in this one, you gotta be prepared, because while you might increase the probability of you winning, there are always the odds against you. Let's say that you have a 99.9% of winning that particular pot, there is always gonna be that one lucky motherfucker that is gonna get that 1%, that one lucky 1%, and it's gonna bring home all of your money. Hence why we're actually at the end of the video, and there are literally the last few advices that I genuinely hope all of you guys are gonna take to heart, since they are the core of gambling. If you feel like gambling, only gamble extra money. Only gamble disposable income. Never go in debt because you feel like gambling. If you feel like gambling and you do not have the money, do not gamble. I'm serious. Second tip, be prepared to lose every single dime you put into whatever gambling website you decide to go on. Because eventually, luck is not gonna play in your favor anymore, and eventually you will start losing money. You might be on like a $50 fucking winning streak. Eventually, odds are gonna play against you, and you need to be prepared. You need to go into gamble. You need to basically go into gambling with the concept, with the inner thought that eventually you are going to lose, and that the money that you put in it are not gonna actually affect the way you live. That you still have the money to pay rent, that all that kind of good jazz. Third tip. Gambling should be considered a leisure, okay? Not an investment. As I said during literally 10 minutes past of this video, there is no certain way for you to make your money back. Do not put your last savings into gambling websites in the hope that you will actually win. Chances are those are actually the moments in which you're gonna lose everything. Trust me. Gambling should be only treated as a leisure, aka you enjoy doing it, you have fun while doing it. You should go ahead and do it for that reason, not because you expect something back. That is the first step in actually falling under the gambling addiction, because when you actually start losing money, you see others winning and all the kind of good jazz, you start feeling like, well, why am I not winning? Maybe next time is gonna be a lot better. I'm just gonna go ahead and put all in, and next time I'm gonna, bail out on all the kind of good jazz. No, it's not gonna happen, mate. Do not throw away your money. I'm sorry for the really weird topic that we've been talking today. I know it's definitely a lot more heavier than usual, than what we usually post here. Nonetheless, I hope you all had a beautiful day. Thank you all for watching. If you feel like this video deserves to be watched more, deserves to be watched by someone that you might know or might not know, that is really that close to actually falling into the pit, also known as gambling addiction, feel free to slap a like and maybe even share it. Hope you had a beautiful day. Thank you all for watching. Bye bye.